I could not believe what I was seeing and what we were experiencing. I was flight lead of a 2-ship mission, and we were the first to come in and land. And long story short, we ended up moving the aircraft because we didn't feel comfortable with where we had set the aircraft down to pick up the injured soldiers. And so we found out after the fact, once we got back to our base, that where we had landed the aircraft the first time, an improvised explosive device had detonated in the same location that we had landed the aircraft the first time.
You see, he's not the same as he was before his time in the service. Unfortunately, he had an experience during his service time in the Air Force that was extremely traumatic. As our relationship rekindled, I had to learn the new Jim. There were moments that I wasn't sure that we were going to make it. The facility where he got all of his care had washed their hands of him, telling him there's nothing we can do for you, but we can give you another medication. He was on so many medications at this point in time. He hated the meds and he hated the way he felt on them.
While with the 3rd Brigade, we were deployed to Afghanistan in 2011. We would get incoming, indirect fire at least 6 out of the 7 days a week. I was actually on top of a roof, putting up 2 antennas. It hit about 75 yards out. It hit about a meter away from one of our XOs, Lieutenant Robert Welch III. It was him and Sergeant Lewis walking down the road. He pushed Sergeant Lewis into a ditch and took the blast. He was the first that I lost. There was a gentleman I was in high school with. He was on a convoy and they got ambushed. And pursuing the ambushees, he got shot. I wake up every day wondering, why them, not me?
On average, more than 20 veterans are lost every day in America to suicide. Through the efforts of Mission 22 and the support of people such as you, we hope to one day get that number down to 0. I remember Tim, came up to us. There was a combat stress team there on site at our location, and he directed us to go see that team. And I can tell you, reflecting back on that truly grateful for that, because we were able to not only decompress as a crew, but also talk about what we saw, how it made us feel, and it kind of set the stage for the rest of our deployment there as we continued to fly very similar missions. There are soldiers who have deployed who didn't have those opportunities to talk to someone, and so they come home and they have the wounds of what they've experienced overseas, and they don't have an outlet to talk to somebody about it. So they get to a point in their life where they feel like the only other option is to take their own life. They feel like that's their only way out. And so I am grateful for Mission 22 and what they do in getting veterans the care and the help that they need so they can live to see another day.
In 2017, I bought a Jeep. Through this community, I met a man named David who owned a pretty sick Jeep. We talked a lot on Instagram. One day he posted a photo of the Jeep and I noticed the decal, MI22ION. I reached out to him to ask him about the decal. He told me all about it and I was hooked. I went straight to the website, I applied to become an ambassador and was accepted. I began learning all I could about Mission 22. I started going out to events and telling others about Mission 22. I didn't realize that my husband was paying attention, but he came to me one day with his head hung low. He said, I applied for the Mission 22 program. He was able to, with the support of his brand new primary care doctor, get off the cocktail of meds he had been put on for so many years. I watched him over the course of R&R program learn how to take that traumatic experience that had consumed his life for 20 plus years, finally emerge and revealing himself again. Mission 22 created a one-of-a-kind R&R program for me. Through the 6 months of the R&R spouse program, I learned that it wasn't my fault. I learned that taking care of myself helps me to become a better version of me. Jim and I are the happiest we've ever been. We learned together that post-traumatic growth needs to take place in order to be present for each other, and we owe our life and gratitude to Mission 22.
Just out of my unit, we have almost 10 suicides in the last 10 years since we've been back. That is 10 way too many. I was sitting at dinner with my wife, and I'm like, what am I doing?
how can I help? So I go on the website, I fill out the application. It was about a month later, I got my approval. I was like, heck yeah, I'm doing this as a veteran. It's amazing. It really is to see the love and support our veterans have through this. The programs we have for them, it's phenomenal to see. I'm glad I have my experiences to share with them. And helping those get the right help gives me great pride. I found my purpose at Mission 22.